All right, hey everyone, it's B and Chan.
Hi.
Hi. People were talking about how they were interested in some online art classes, especially for their kids. So Chan and I were gonna go over today just the list of some of the materials that you would need for two different projects. Both are a lot of fun. One is much easier than the other. People are really interested in paint pouring, which is awesome. It just might be a little difficult to get some of the materials right now, so we'll go over some substitutes that we can use, but I have everything that I typically use if you're able to get to like a hardware store. Also, right now, Michael's is doing curbside pickup, so if you need to get any craft supplies, you should be able to order online and then pull right up, call them, and pick it up. So, all right. So, yeah, let's get into it. We want to have some fun while we're quarantined. I know everyone's cooped up. Happy global pandemic 2020, right? So let's start off with things that we would need for our paint pouring. So why don't you tell them about what we can paint pour on?
We can paint pour on flat surfaces. For an example,
This is a canvas.
Yep. Canvas. Or like
Wood.
Flat. Yes.
Wood. Any flat, hard surface that's kind of toothier. That just means the texture. You don't want something that's completely smooth, so the paint doesn't roll right off. Something flat is also very ideal, especially for your first time. It's easier to control the paint that way. So if you can get something along those lines, even if you have like some extra wood lying around in the garage or the backyard.
Or you can try shells. We tried this a couple months ago.
It gives you a good idea though, if you can see the paint kind of is pouring off. We haven't perfected it yet, but this gives you a good idea of why you need something flat.
Nice.
All right, so for paint, you can use craft or professional acrylic paint. I would say craft paint's probably cheaper, and you're more likely to have this lying around the house unless you already do art. This is perfectly fine. They both mix easily, but like I said, might want to go with craft paint, especially if you have multiple kids. Now the thing with paint pouring, we'll get into it more in the video, is the consistency of the paint. You want to make sure that it dries evenly and that there's no cracks. One way to even out your paint is Floetrol. You can get this at Home Depot, Lowe's, in the paint section. It's not too expensive. You can actually get a bottle smaller than this for like $5. So you're going to be mixing that in with the paint as well as some water. Now, to get those cells that everyone likes, those little circles in the paintings, the bubbles, there are a couple of different ways you can do that. We will be doing one kind of paint swipe, paint pour that does not involve any chemicals. But if you wanted to grab some for the other ways that we do it, like when you flip the cup, or just kind of splash it down on your canvas or wood, whatever you're using, then you want to try to get dimethicone. This one is makeup grade. They actually use it in a lot of hair products and makeup products. So you can also check the backs of if you have like any hair serum, hair products under your sink in your bathroom, and see if there's dimethicone in it. The second one you can also get at Home Depot or Lowe's. It is the all-temp silicone. They have it in the plumbing section at hardware stores. Also only a few bucks. You're also only going to be using like 2 or 3 drops of this. You don't want to use too much. So not a huge deal if you don't have it. We'll show you a way to get those cells without them. But if you go out, it's helpful.
This can make extra bubbles if you want for the over top of it. Not too much though.
Yes. Not super necessary either, but if you have a blowtorch or some kind of torch of any sort, this is going to help get those cells as well. It brings the bubbles to the surface from under your paint, and when they release, it creates more of those cells. Another thing you're going to need when we mix up our paint are popsicle sticks. You can also use chopsticks. I mean, you can use really anything to mix as long as you clean them right away after. For the paint, you can use small plastic cups, again, that are reusable. You'll want to clean them up afterwards, but you can also use like little Dixie cups if you want to just toss them out after. Sometimes we rinse them out and reuse them a couple of times.
Just like go.
So we're gonna move on to our watercolor project.
So scoot aside, scoot aside.
So our second project that we were going to do is a watercolor study, and then at the same time we'll do like a cool galaxy background with the silhouette of some kind of landscape of your choice, like waves, mountains, trees. So for that, super simple, all you need is some kind of watercolor paint. You might already have some of these lying around the house. If you don't, they have them at literally like every store. I mean, if you're doing like grocery pickup from Walmart or whatever, I know for sure they have them there. Besides that, all you're gonna need is some kind of paintbrush and paper. Now, the paper with watercolor is kind of important. You don't want to use regular printer paper or like sketch paper because it's so thin. Once the water is in the paper, it's going to cause it to curl and crinkle a lot. And Shannon brought down an example. So this is something she made me. This is what I'm talking about. We're gonna do a nice, colorful, beautiful background and then something in the foreground. Thank you for bringing that down. Okay. Now back to the paper. You want something a little thicker. See how these don't automatically bend? This is Bristol paper. It's typically used for something other than watercolor paper, but we gotta work with what we've got. So like cardstock paper would probably work well. This is actual watercolor paper. When you feel it, it has texture. It's toothier. So that would be more ideal. Yeah, and that's really all we'll need for the watercolor. For the study, we're gonna see all of the cool things that we can do with watercolor. So you'll need salt and different absorbent materials. Like you can try like cotton balls, Q-tips, paper towels, an old rag, whatever you have lying around that you don't mind the kids soaking up paint with. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a paint pouring video today and we'll post it tomorrow. We are totally down to do stuff live if that's what you guys want. I'm trying to get like an idea of what people want to see. I know these are just two of the projects that people have already brought up to me. So I wanted to give you a list of materials to gather. Another thing I was interested in, I'm going to tag some artists that I know in here. I thought it might be fun to have a couple art classes from a few different artists on different things because all artists are different and no one way is right. So it would be a lot of fun to learn from other people, not just Chan and I. So if you have any questions about the materials or the projects, or you have any suggestions, please just let us know. We're super excited to create some art content for you guys and get everyone busy and moving around during the quarantine. So thanks for watching. You gonna come say bye?
Bye, like and subscribe.
Can you turn it off? Okay. Thank you.